so good.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Investor Shed podcast. I'm Nick Beveridge, sitting right here next to the guy that came out of my mom's vagina just before I did, Brandon Beveridge. How are you doing?
I was planned, just to let you know.
Yeah, and
So
don't
that
forget
was
we got Jeremy over there.
Hey, I'm over here in the corner, everybody. How's it going? But I just want to clarify for everyone, Brandon didn't come out just before Nick. There was a couple year wait there.
About a year and a
Not
half.
a year and a half.
Yeah,
Okay,
my
you guys
parents were
You're not
consistent.
twins, is what I want to get at.
No, we're not twins. No. Yeah, about a year and a half separation.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming on. Thanks for
welcome.
making the trip out. You traveled a great distance this morning from Deer Park, Washington.
Well, you guys are kind of a big deal, so it's worth the drive.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart.
Are you one of our 3 viewers?
Actually, I click on it every chance I get.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Really? Do you actually learn anything from this podcast, or are you just like, oh, it's cool, my brother's got a podcast?
I have learned a few things. Yeah.
What have you learned?
Well, the other day it wasn't a podcast, but I did click on your video and learn about the housing market, how it's a shithole or something.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
So it was nice to have that update on the housing market, because I'm always kind of curious, and you kind of reaffirm some of the things that I was kind of felt like people were buying new construction and things like that.
Nice. I've got to say thank you. You actually encouraged me a long time ago. I'm sure you know this, but maybe you don't realize it. But you were the first to buy a house in our small family,
Yep.
And actually do a house hack. So you bought it with like no money out of pocket, and you got all your buddies to help pitch in for the mortgage.
Well, let's let him
And
tell
it was,
Nick.
but
No,
I just want to make this point.
He's on point.
And we will dive into this, but and this was back, this was almost 20 years ago.
06? I think
Yeah,
it was 06.
18 years ago. But it was long before that trash panda Brandon Turner ever tried to coin the term house hacking. You invented it. I don't think anybody ever did it before you. So congratulations.
You know what? It just came together because I knew I had to pay my bills, and the best way to do it was to add a roommate. How about one more and one more?
Well, yeah, let's break into this, because again, like, this was probably 17 or 18 years ago now, and just for context, like, I've known Nick and Brandon Beveridge for what feels like 30 years now. I think we met when I was 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So, like, I've known you guys longer than I've known people that aren't my family. Like, anyone that's not my immediate family, you guys are, like, next in line for how long I've known you. So it's really cool to watch both of your growths, first of all, and the journey you've taken. So let's talk about what you actually did when you bought that house, if you don't mind. How did it get structured? How much did you buy it for? What was the plan?
And you were super young. What actually made you want to purchase a house? Do you remember?
Living in Florida
Okay.
with you. I know you moved there with Mom when the parents separated. But I got robbed a couple of times.
Yeah, I remember that.
my-
You got
my visit.
stabbed skateboarding home.
Skateboarding
in
home.
the dark.
Got scared. Yep.
And oh god, you got to tell this story because it's actually, I mean, it's sad, but it's hilarious.
Well, I was a cashier at the Winn-Dixie.
Yep.
I got off around 9 or 10, skateboarding home in the dark on a dark sidewalk. But and then I heard this bike crash behind me, and then I look back, and this guy's coming up to me with some kind of knife, and he's like, empty your pockets. I'm like, I don't even know your name. Like, what's going on?
That is that's the first thing that came out of your mouth.
I don't even know you. I don't know your name.
I don't know your name, sir.
And it's dark, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, this is kind of a threat. And, I didn't really know any self-defense at the time. And now I would love that opportunity, to happen again.
You've watched a lot of Steven Seagal movies. You can cover yourself for sure.
No, you've been training.
Yep.
But we'll get into that later. But so this guy, he wanted your money, wanted whatever's in your pockets.
Yeah.
You didn't give it to him.
Yeah.
And then you paid the price of getting stabbed.
I got cut a little bit. Yeah, we walked in the road. He followed me in the middle of the road. Cars going 50 miles an hour, not stopping, not caring.
Yeah.
I thought someone would pull over and help a brother out, but
It's not Idaho. That was not Idaho. And I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry, but I remember too working at Winn-Dixie, skateboarding home a lot because I don't know why we didn't just ride bikes or something.
I left my vehicle here to go try Florida.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I remember one day. I got off work at Winn-Dixie about 15 minutes. I left 15 minutes early or something like that. And I remember seeing on the news the next morning that there was a shootout in that parking lot about the time I would have gotten off. So we didn't live in the best area, which is kind of hilarious. But
So yeah, after being robbed a few times, I just figured, you know what, I'm just gonna come back to Idaho and get a job and buy a house and kind of set my roots. Kind of, when you're 18, it's good to move out and fulfill those wild oats and kind of see which direction you want to go. I always encourage that. To travel around until you're tied down, with a marriage or kids or something like that. Just, it's very good. Like if I could do it over again, like I probably would have even traveled a few more before I settled down. But anyway, I knew I wanted to buy a house, and it's actually kind of funny how it worked out, because about house hacking, it kind of brought back memories of what 2006, 2007, 2008, like kind of that time when that market was like peaking, and then it was like crash, the crash.
yeah,
of
you
09.
bought in 06, right?
Bought an 06.
So like historically, that would have been the worst time to buy if you had to sell within the a couple years after that.
Yeah.
But if you did find if you kept that property, it'd be worth a lot more today.
Oh yeah.
But regardless, what happened? What made you? How did you purchase that property? Because you didn't really have much money at the time, right?
Exactly. And I think this is how, I think I'm the perfect example of a crash, like coming, because I was selling cars for about 1 month. And then I walked into the loan place, and they said, "Hey, you could have a loan."
There you go.
That's exactly why the crash happened, because
right,
it was
like,
giving out loans
I
all
was
willy-nilly.
literally a 20-year-old, not qualified, and I just walked in there, and they said, "Sure, go buy a house." I'm like, "Okay."
But you had plenty of down payment, right?
I had no down payment.
Oh, okay.
I was sleeping on Sean's couch when he was with Amanda at the time. And I was sleeping on their couch, and he was detailing at Auto Mall, and I was selling cars for like 1 month.
Yeah.
And they said, "Hey, you don't have to sleep on a couch anymore. You can go buy a house." And so that's exactly what I did. And I was kind of a little, Dad sold homes, and I was a little stubborn because I wanted something with a little bit of property, but he was showing me kind of a newer build. I didn't really think about it at the time, and so I went with the shittier house with the shittier roof, and that,
on a busy street.
yeah,
But it was a big lot. It had a shop.
yep,
A lot of what people actually like these days. Maybe they liked it back then too, but that was that was in the heat of the market too, when a lot of things were selling quickly, right? Because anybody can get a mortgage.
exactly. I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of options for me. There wasn't like that acreage I was looking for with the shop, or because I kind of gravitate more towards property than like a subdivision. That's just something like like space between homes. But anyway, I just remember there wasn't a lot of inventory, but I was also at the time sleeping on a couch, and now I could have this $200,000 house moving ready.
Yeah. Do you remember what your mortgage
So-
payment was and how much money you were making a month?
I do remember the mortgage, and that was kind of unique because it was like, I think, a 20-80 split.
Okay, so it was 2 loans.
It was 2 loans through the same company, so different account numbers. One was like 7%, one was like 9%.
Oh, the interest rate?
Yeah.
7 and 9%. Okay, and that was kind of common back then, right? The 7% interest rate, which today everyone's shocked about, and it's actually like at 6% now, I believe. Mm-hmm. But still, everybody thinks it's super high, which in comparative it is if you look the last few years, but historically pretty normal.
But I think when you add them both together, I was paying right around $1,400 a month or so.
$1,400 a month.
$1,400 a month was my mortgage. Yeah.
Okay, and then how much extra income did you have in your car selling job?
I didn't have a lot. I did not have a lot. Yeah, like car sales, it's not consistent.
Yeah.
So you're selling a lot one day, you spend money, and then the next month you're like, "Oh, dang, I should have saved some from last month."
Yeah.
But I don't remember. I can't give you an exact number.
Yeah. No, it's okay. And I remember around that time too, gas prices were all of a sudden historically high, and it was I guess gas is always historically high in general, but the cost of living was going up a lot back then.
Yeah,
if you remember right.
Yeah, it was. I remember I was spread thin. I remember that for a while because I had to I financed a vacuum.
Yeah, you got attacked by the Kirby guy.
Yeah, I got attacked, so I had a vacuum payment, and then I had a little boat payment.
You had a boat?
And yeah, I got a boat from Dad, and I did some work on it. Anyway,
I don't even remember that.
yeah, but
And you had a brand new truck and everything too.
yeah, and then I had a crotch rocket,
Right, right.
and
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt I had all these items that the people were just approving me left and right, because I was paying bills.
Yeah, cool.
But I literally had a car payment or something due every other day. I just remember it was kind of I put myself in a little stressful situation because
Yeah. So did you, when you bought this house, were you planning on getting roommates right away?
yes, yeah. I think the plan was I think Alan and Brad were gonna move in.
Okay.
So 2 roommates, but I had a couple extra rooms, and then so along the way, all the rooms were filled. I think there was 4 or 5 roommates at the time, and I think 6 that was at the peak. So
You said all the rooms plus more. There's
Right.
that house was not up to code for how many people were living
Yeah.
in that thing.
You took whatever you could and made a bedroom out of it. Like I remember when I moved up I think it was at the end of 2006. You said, "Oh, I got a space for you."
yeah, was that
And I
behind
came.
was that
and
behind the kitchen there?
Yeah, it was a dining room behind the kitchen that had no carpet or anything, and it had the slider door.
Yep.
And I'm like, "This is perfect. That's great." And you're like, "I got some extra carpet in the shed or the shop," and I went and just cut out some carpet and painted I think I painted the walls black.
I think it was black.
But then
yep.
it was a bedroom, just that quick.
Yep.
Had to have a place to hang up my clothes, but that was about it.
House hacking had its advantages. We had a lot of good memories there, a lot of good friends, a lot of sleepovers, a lot of parties. I remember even a pregnant stripper came over at one point. Actually, I don't remember that because I drank too much that night, but I usually don't drink ever, but I remember that night. I think the party was for me, and I was out before the party started.
You were if I remember that night direct, you threw a shot glass at me, and I ended up having to tackle you to the ground. And if that's the same night Isaac was boxing your asshole, that was
the night because I woke up the next morning and my butt hurt, and I'm like, why does my butt hurt? And Isaac was so happy that he hit me all night.
Little context for that. Obviously, Brandon had a little bit too much alcohol, which we don't really condone or support on the show, but you do whatever you want. Brandon was trying to box people, and he was the most slow, sluggish. He was swinging, but swinging a half mile an hour. So our friend Isaac would just duck under him and just box his butt. It was pretty comical.
Okay. I just want to clear the air real quick before you make me sound like an alcoholic.
We were all drinking, including you.
That was one of 3 times in my whole life that I don't remember everything.
Yeah. This wasn't always, but there was definitely a lot of parties that happened.
This is the time when we all should have been in college, but instead we just had jobs and we partied like we were in college.
Yep.
So house hacking had its advantages. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember? So you had a bunch of roommates. Were there some months where you were just not really having to pay up the mortgage and it was paid by all the roommates, or?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you were living for free most of the time?
Yes. I mean, I wasn't doing the math, like I said, having that vacuum payment and those other payments, I just when money was in, oh, that bill's due, this bill's due. But I couldn't have done it without all the roommates. So it saved
It was a
my
fun
ass.
experience, though.
Yeah.
It was.
I don't think it was a terrible experience. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed living there. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah,
I
it was
thought it
great.
was fun.
It served its purpose. I think we lived there for 3 or 4 years and then sold it to an investor, and yeah.
Yeah, and now he's doing really well.
He's doing really well. He bought the house for a short sale, like I said, because it was kind of during the crash, and I owed way more than what it was worth, and I'm surprised it sat on the market for as long as it did, but he came along with cash and swooped it up.
Yeah,
And
but
so
your next house you got, it was kind of like an in-between house. You had a new construction house built out in Twin Lakes. Do you remember that house?
oh yeah,
Of course. We got you a really good deal. I think we were working directly with the builder. You got land on 10 acres for $56,000 or something like that.
it was 49 or 50
bank-owned land.
Yeah.
This was back
We
in
jumped on it.
2013, I think.
It was right after me and Ava got married.
2014.
And we got married September 2014.
About 10 years ago. Okay.
So we were saving up for a house right after that. So,
Yeah.
So I think it was early 2015 or So
Yeah. And you and your wife had plans of building a wedding venue at the time. And you bought this property for that purpose, right?
yes, yep,
And then you ended up changing your mind and decided to go out and do it in Deer Park.
yep.
What tell us about this story, if you don't mind, because I guess we haven't gotten into it yet, but my brother right now, he has a property that he runs a wedding venue on.
Yeah.
And he has other rental income on, multiple different rental incomes.
Mm-hmm.
He's on 20 acres, makes a shit ton of money. It's like house hacking to the extreme.
Right.
And
It doesn't feel
don't be
like
too
it.
humble about
I mean,
it.
I'm
Compared
married
to
with
the
kids,
average
it doesn't
investor.
really feel like it.
Yeah.
But Monday morning is a lot different.
But
for
you've
me.
you've definitely upgraded your house hacking to the extreme.
Well, thank you, Nick.
And pretty proud of you. You built a really nice property. It brings in a lot of income. But tell us how you got there.
Okay. So we did get that. We did find that diamond in the rough property, $50,000, 10 acres out in Twin Lakes. You'll never see a property like that again. It was, beautiful property. We built a small little affordable house. Lived there for a couple years, and then we realized that it wasn't the right property to have a venue and long term.
Yeah.
What made you think it wasn't the right one?
Well, part of it
property for
is
that?
Eva my wife has ties to Washington and Deer Park. A lot of her friends are out there and family,
Yeah.
and it was just more manageable to open up a venue there than create one off the side of a mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember. It wasn't exactly flat terrain.
yeah, right.
No.
Yeah.
Still really nice. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
But beautiful property out in Twin Lakes, very quiet. It would have been like we would have turned it into a very nice venue, but like I said, it would have took many years
Yeah.
to create that. And
A lot of developing that needed to happen
right,
for sure.
exactly. So, and it's just kind of funny because we bought the exact opposite. Not a new build, but like a house that's 100 years old.
Right, yeah.
On old flat property, like farmland. And so I remember when we were listing it, you guys all thought we were crazy, but like.
I didn't think you were crazy. I just thought this is sad to get rid of this property.
Right. And it was a little sad, but like
guys-
we could see, I guess we could see the benefits of doing it. Like why are you getting rid of that? It's like so nice. Like, yeah, it really is, but
This
But
is the end goal, right?
Yeah.
Right.
All the infrastructure was already at this Deer Park property to make a big
Exactly. It
wedding
just-
venue.
yeah.
You already have multiple buildings. You go into it though. I don't want to steal your thunder there.
no, it's fine. So that was kind of a diamond in the rough too, and it actually didn't fall. It actually fell apart the moment we looked at it because we were outbid $40,000. I know this is a different time,
Yeah.
Fast forward,
How much was this property again?
429
Okay.
on 20 acres. Had about like 10 or 11 outbuildings.
Yeah.
A lot of potential there. Good bones. We moved there for the barn, big red barn. Eva's like, hey, we'll sleep in this little house, but check out the barn because, we were passionate about like our future, what we wanted to do, host weddings and have income and a family. So
Yeah. Real quick, just so that people out there know what we're talking about. It's a 20-acre property, right?
yep.
You've already got a house on it with, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath? Your main house?
Yep.
That's right
So
up
you
front?
stalking me, Nick?
No, I'm just trying to remember. And then there's also a duplex on the property
Yes.
that you have family living out of, paying you rents on both sides.
Yeah,
And
we
then
had
you've
we
got
had to
this-
do a little bit of work to
Yep.
get it to that, like
Right.
add a kitchen and washer dryer and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you had to do a lot of work with this property, but all this infrastructure was already there. You already had a duplex. Plus, you had another little, which I know you built out quite a bit, but there's another building that you Airbnb. It's a little studio.
Right,
It's
it
also
was-
a bridal suite.
It was a wood shed when we moved in. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know, and you spent like the last 8 years there just fixing this place up, one thing after another. Like you're always doing work out there. It's
It's our
wasn't-
passion, Nick.
Yeah.
Passion goes a long way.
Yeah.
Like you're passionate about real estate, Mm-hmm. Like you probably want to wake up in the middle of the night and talk about real estate, but instead you have to go to sleep. Right?
How'd you know?
Like
Yeah.
you can't wait till Monday morning. You've told me like you just love real estate.
Yeah.
And I think for us, like, we had our wedding and we were passionate about weddings and we just wanted to keep having more weddings. And that's, so it's kind of what drives us,
Yep.
So every day we're working on it, whether we need to or not. We're just trying to build it up.
Yep. So the to go back, sorry, the little house in Twin Lakes, you bought that on you got like a kind of a cheaper like USDA loan, right, or something like that, where you didn't have to put much down, if I remember.
I don't think we put anything down at all.
Yep.
Oh, yep, nothing down on
So
this.
you got an
Yep.
owner-occupied loan. If I remember right, I think it was a USDA loan at the time.
Okay.
Hard to do now because you got to find the right property at the right price point and have the right income at the time.
Yeah.
But then you took the profits after you built out that property. You spent. I know you still spent a lot of effort bringing the yard up to space, and you were constantly working on it. A couple years later, you sell it, you make a big profit, and you're able to dump all the profits into a new property, right?
Exactly. Instead of buying that Lamborghini, we were buying drywall and trees and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know you had to build out the wedding venue, and it took a long time to get to where it is. But how long did it take until you were ready to have your first wedding?
About 2 years.
Okay.
Yep. About 2 years.
And how much did you make off that wedding? Do you remember?
Well, that was right about when COVID was starting too.
Oh, yeah.
But our first weddings, we were charging about $3,500. $3,500.
Okay.
So
And now, about how many weddings do you do a year?
now we do right around 25 a year.
Okay.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And how many? How much do you charge now?
We just raised it to 6,200.
6,200.
6,200. Yeah.
So how much is that per year? About.
Uh,
I know we have to break out a calculator, but I think this is important.
right. Let's
I think it's important to.
let's just say after our expenses, maybe five grand. Just do easy math times 25. That's 125,000.
125,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then about how much do you make off the rental income between the bridal suite and then the duplexes?
Duplex.
Sorry, the duplex.
Well, mother-in-law, she's there, part of the agreement moving in. We actually used her down payment, so she's off the hook.
Right. I was gonna say, you guys didn't come with a zero down payment. Like mother-in-law came with the down payment in
Right.
exchange for living there, correct?
Exactly.
For the actual contract, how that actually
So
works.
she gets to live there as long as she wants, hopefully a long time, as long as she's living. She gets to live there. She helped us out with the down payment, so that was her contribution. The other side is the brother-in-law and a roommate, and I'm keeping their rent pretty affordable. They just pay $500 each, so $1,000, and
$1,000,
and they
okay.
chip in a little bit more for electricity, and so it makes it really nice when it comes for us to pay our mortgages. It's very affordable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then about how much do you make off that little Airbnb per year, if you had to guess?
Well, we listed on Airbnb about 6 months out of the year. It works out perfect because we don't want any long-term rental because we actually use it for a bridal suite.
Right. Yeah, it's part of the wedding experience.
Yeah,
But
so-
on the off seasons, you're bringing in income there.
Yep. In the off season, we enjoy hosting. Airbnb is a great spot to list it. It's close to town, so it stays pretty booked. Eva sees those numbers, but I think we're charging $60 a night.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
If you had to get, are you making 10 grand a year, 20 grand a year?
Off the Airbnb,
Yeah.
I'd probably right around 10. Like I said, Eva sees those numbers. She's more in charge of HR.
Okay.
She wouldn't
yeah,
finance a vacuum like I would.
Right. Well,
So-
I just want this to sink in with everybody. Your house hacking. This is one property that you live and work on, and it's not I know you water plants for like 2 hours a day. It's not like an easy job.
During the
But
summer, yes, we're
It's
dragging
one
hose.
property, just one property. You're making about 144 grand a year passive. Does that sound right?
Nick, I think you're right. I didn't look at it like that, but you see things from a investment point, a real estate point,
Sure.
Yeah.
which is great. Like you're a total money guy and numbers guy. I don't necessarily live my life by the numbers like you do, but I think you're onto something with those.
Yeah.
And just to throw something else in there, like it makes it 144 grand a year passive. Like I will say, like
It's a little
nothing
active.
about what you do is passive, Brandon. From the outsider's perspective, I see nobody working harder towards their dream than you.
Right. But
Thanks.
it does get easier as
Right.
time goes on, doesn't it?
It's been
little bit?
a lot easier. I remember we put in the work, and now we can enjoy like our Monday mornings with our kids. Like
Yeah.
our Monday mornings look a lot different than they used to. because we put in the work. When we moved in there, like that's all we did. We didn't have kids. We would stay up till midnight, 2 in the morning, painting all the time. And now we kind of get to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Right. And it is kind of like a mix of active and passive income. I'll give you that point, Jeremy. But what I want to just make a point home is like this is residual income that you don't have to necessarily, like you can have somebody manage your weddings if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay them 144 grand a year to do that.
Right.
It could be substantially less, or you can even build in that fee to each wedding, you know, and just up your wedding charge if you had to.
Yeah.
So the point I'm getting at is that you've spent the last, 8 years working hard on this property, and you will, as long as you stay there, you're probably going to be set for life, right?
You know what's kind of funny? I feel like other people kind of always point out the big picture of things. We have events, and I always hear kind of the same thing, like, "Wow, it must be nice living here." Obviously. Yeah, nice. So I mean, people know like what that actually means. Like pulling weeds. Yeah, it's really nice. Oh, I get to relax here all the time. No, I actually make it really nice so you can relax.
Yeah.
But what I hear all the time is like people say this place is a gold mine. And I think
it's
that's
a job.
I think that's what because there is rental income, there is like the events, and like potential for more to expand and things like that. And I could see why people say it's like a gold mine, But me, like I'm just trying to like water my plants and book weddings, and be a good dad and husband.
But I think if I had to guess, and tell me if I'm wrong, but like the things you're doing on a day-to-day basis can be outsourced if you wanted to. And you're not going to see a humongous drop in your income.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. I mean, for a good example is like in October, I might be gone for the weekend, but it's also a good weekend for a wedding,
Yeah.
And Eva's thinking we need to block out the date. I'm like, babe, no. You're not going to block out the date. Like we could have a wedding and I could just hire out 2 people to cover me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
because it's not going to cost $5,000 to hire 2 people for a weekend.
Right. Like, no, we have a wedding. It'll pay for that weekend trip that I'm going to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so anyway, it's just working through those, like, being business owners and seeing, what's going to make the most sense for us. And like, babe, if I die, like right now, like, it's not like you're going to cancel the weddings on the books. You just hire help, So,
Can you go in a little bit into what it was like getting the word out there that you have a wedding venue, and how hard it was to get to the point where you were like fully booked almost every weekend a year? Like, because that doesn't happen overnight. I know that. And then I know COVID didn't help.
Yeah.
But like, what was it like becoming a marketer and like that side of your business? Like, how'd you get the word out on such a regular basis to where all of a sudden you had all these bookings?
Okay. Well, first off, you got to have Google. Obviously, you got to have Google. When people are doing their homework, you want to pop up on Google.
Okay.
But Eva said this right from the very beginning. It's having events creates more events. Activity creates more events.
Yeah. That's
When if you could get someone out there, like for a wedding or a baby shower, what it is, like, then they're going to like, wow, this is really nice. I'm going to put this in my mind for when my daughter's getting married, like have this as an option.
Is that why you would host like Halloween parties and stuff at your event
Well,
center?
we also we wanted to host that, for friends,
Because there's a lot of people there and it was really cool. I wonder if did you ever get any business from doing things like that?
The
like
Halloween
just having friends and family over for
party, not necessarily. It's more like having weddings and
just having the weddings. Yeah.
I remember this one wedding. It was like one of our first years. The cousin to the bride, like they had their wedding. It was beautiful, and then the cousin came back later when she was engaged and had her wedding, and then we had that wedding, and then the bartender that they hired enjoyed the space, so they came back for it too. And like it just like has that ripple effect. And what now we're offering horse carriage rides, which is great. But in the spring, I had a guy come out to give me a bid on the garage door for the carriage. And he's like, wow, this place is really nice. And I'm like, well, thanks. And let me show you the barn real quick. It's kind of unique. There's not manure all over the place. You could eat off the ground, and dance over here. And, so I gave him just a quick little tour. He gave me the quote for a garage door. Couple months go by, we got the garage door. A few more months went by, and his daughter's engaged, and now they booked with us, Nice. And it was all just from having somebody come out. And so I could say that has honestly been our biggest, to answer your question, to booking down the road, is actually just having people out to enjoy the space.
Yeah.
So more effective than marketing or like having a booth set up at an event center.
Well,
those kind of things.
We still do that because there's a lot more event centers, and we still have a little bit more room in our books for next year. But we just got done with our busiest wedding season, and we're very thankful for that. But we don't want to be complacent. You still have to put in the work.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have? Sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh, I was going to say, so just kind of talking about this in marketing, how you guys got your word out clearly. Having people out to your venue is how you get people, to be interested in your venue. And I think that's great. It's a good way to be top of mind, having those people out there directly. And that's just a good tip for anyone out there who's running a business. Like, get people to your event, get people talking about your thing, and then the ball starts rolling that way.
I think about like restaurants too. Like any good restaurant that you've ever been to, like you just have to show up that one time.
Right.
And then now it's like, oh man, I got to go to every time I come to Coeur d'Alene, I have to go to this restaurant.
George's breakfast.
It's just kind of like that. Or, like maybe your REI investment that you have the first Thursday of every month.
Oh yeah, yeah. You showed up to my very first one, I think, didn't you?
I was there. Yeah, you had the cookies and everything. I think I even have a picture of you because I was so proud that you put on this meeting. Talking to all these strangers.
Oh, thank you. Do you know February will be our 10th year anniversary of doing that?
Wow,
it's already been 10 years.
That's great. And so what have you? Over the last 10 years, do you regret doing it? Or was it like?
No, I mean, it was everything pretty much. I mean, it accounted for like 80% of my business that I have today just by doing that. But it's something that I just do consistently. It's something that people can count on. It's something I can count on.
Yeah.
If I just show up to this thing once a month, first Thursday,
you're consistent.
Just consistent. Right. It was just a consistent way to meet people.
Yep.
And if I wasn't doing that, I'd be doing something else. But that seems to be very effective. It's something I like doing. It's something I look forward to.
And you just have to have someone show up through the door the first time, right?
Yeah.
And then they could be hooked, with you, for the whole 10 years,
That's true.
So, and good connections.
And people definitely do not show up, consistently every single month. But there's people that haven't been there for a few years that come back, and it's just like whatever the timing's right for them.
Right.
But the majority of the people that come to this thing have been there before in the past.
That's great.
At some point. Yeah.
Yeah, because it takes more than one person to buy a house, close a house. I know you need a network of people. I'm not in real estate, but I've heard plenty from you that you can't do it by yourself. As a realtor, don't you need like a title person and a contractor and
super team?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we just had an episode on super teams, like 2 episodes before this. Yeah, we talked all about like all the different people that you'll need in your real estate investing ventures, or just as an agent. We don't really have a whole lot of agent focused podcasts, but same kind of deal. Right. So tell us, what running a wedding venue, what is like the most stressful part of it? If you had to pick one thing.
Nick, it's not really stressful because, like I said, we're kind of passionate about what we do, so it's we just take it head on. The only thing that's stressful is like having a cancellation and then not be able to rebook that date.
Yeah.
And then having
losing out the money.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
stressful.
keep their deposit, which isn't a whole lot. But like it's just kind of a shame because then you have this beautiful weekend come and go, and you got the flowers out. And,
right.
Like everything is like picture perfect, but there's no wedding because maybe they broke up or who knows? Who knows why you get a cancellation or sometimes it's a kid. Yeah. sometimes they want to have a baby and put off their wedding or elope or that sort of thing.
Or sometimes there's a COVID, and then all the weddings get canceled. What was that like?
Well, we had to navigate that day by day, because one day you could have weddings and the next day you couldn't. And the next day you could have a gathering of 30 people and then you couldn't, So that was a new business. That was pretty hard to navigate. I think we had 20 scheduled on our books, but I think we did 4.
Was that like your second year or third year in business?
That was that would have been our first full year.
Okay, COVID would have been your first full year.
Yeah. So we did
And you had a bunch of bookings, and then almost all of them canceled.
Yep. So we had our first wedding season 2019 in the fall. I think we had 8 weddings right after we got done with construction. And then we had about 20 scheduled for 2020, and I think we did about 4 or 6. We had a couple people actually did their ceremonies and then came back a year later for the reception when COVID went away.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just kind of handled it day by day. Yeah. So as a new business, we're permitted and we're doing everything. Kind of, we have guidelines, like when we can operate and like we're like legit. So we tried to just operate a business. With the guidelines.
Trying to play ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could we go back a little bit to like actually building out the event center and like how you were able to fund that and what you were, because I think if I remember right, you were still working for Red Bull.
Correct.
Your wife was still cutting hair, and you guys were trying to do all this work with all your extra spare time. And if I remember right, there's a lot of credit card debt that you went into at the time.
Nick, can you write my obituary when I die? Because you know me so well.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to remember.
Crazy talk.
What was it like building something and just sinking money into something that was not bringing you any income yet? And just like, was it stressful at times, or did you know it was going to work out?
Well, I put that stress on Eva. Okay. We both see the vision, and we both, we're going to do what we want at the end of the day. But she sees more of the finances of it. But we both have the ideas, and we both encourage, oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah. Where's the debit card? Where's the credit card?
Yeah. And to paint a picture for those out there that have never seen this wedding venue, you guys you transformed this property, and it took, I don't know how much money. Yeah. Do you remember about how much money you spent on improving this property? If you had to guess.
So we had about $100,000 initially that we put into it. From the profits.
Improvements?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Paid off the truck.
Because you made a deal with your mother-in-law that she would bring the down payment for the property, but
Correct.
You guys were bringing all the improvement money.
Correct.
$100,000
That's exactly what we did.
As in profits that you made off your previous house.
Yep. After we paid realtor fees.
Yep. Oh, shout out. I cut you a break on that, I think.
I know.
A little bit.
No. 3%. Whatever.
I was struggling at the time.
I'm just
Maybe not.
Did you ever think about not running a venue? Like, did the thought ever cross your mind to maybe this isn't for us during COVID? With having all those cancellations, did you ever think that you would quit, or what made you persevere? If that makes sense.
Passion, bro. We knew we wanted this at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it doesn't really feel like work or something that was an option. Yeah. It's just what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And what's kind of nice is I kind of feel like we're an unstoppable force, because Eva's right there too. We're both equally passionate about what we want to do. So I think that goes a long way. For everything we put into it, and I think people notice it too. They tell us all the time all the details into it, and
sorry, I want to go back because I want this show for people to understand and get an idea just how much money it could take to build a really nice wedding venue, because you guys you had a lot of the infrastructure there. You had the old buildings, you had the water, sewer, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But you had to build out all the landscaping. You had to build out the bathrooms. You had to get permits. You had to make everything pretty. Do you went through $100,000? I'm sure pretty quick, right?
We did, and we were not finished. So we just got an extension on credit cards and that sort of thing, pulling from different directions just to finish our vision. And then luckily towards the end there, we actually got bookings. Mm-hmm. to pay down our credit cards or buy more trees. You know, like we
Yeah.
actually had, I remember one bride in particular, she booked with us before we even had the grass. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
she could just like vision.
So you got a lot of sod.
Right.
installed,
A lot.
yeah.
Yeah. But like we just had a lot of brides that trusted us as a new venue. Like, here's your money. And we actually just used their money and made the space better for their wedding. You know?
Yeah. But if anybody goes on your website and looks at your venue, if they wanted to duplicate you in some other market and like just I want to do what Brandon did, how much could they actually anticipate spending to get a property like you have? Because I know you spent more than $100,000 in improvements.
We
do you have
spent
any idea how much? Any idea about how much you spent?
I know we spent at least another 50, 60,000. Like Eva could probably answer these a little bit better, but I know we had a bunch of money when we moved in, and then all of a sudden, like, and now we're like in debt. You know, like, oh, we gotta book some weddings now.
And it's probably hard to know exactly because I know that you and me. It seems like every weekend you're making new improvements to your property,
Yeah, for sure.
and this has been an 8-year process.
Yeah, and we.
So I'm just curious if it's like well over $200,000 maybe, but you just haven't kept track.
I mean, it's kind of. I'm sure if I was more prepared, I could give you better numbers, but hundreds of thousands of dollars we've spent. Because, like I said, it's we don't really take any of the profits and go on these lavish trips or anything like that, or like, you know, I'm still driving a 2006 Chevy truck.
Yeah,
you know
I know.
what I mean? Like, so any extra money that we get for the venue, we literally just put it back into the venue, and we think that'll stop at some point. You know?
I mean, it seems pretty good from what I can see. I don't know how much more you can. I'm sure you can always think of more ways to spend money on your property, but it seems like it's dialed in now.
It's pretty nice because the first years we had to do what we needed to do, you know, and now it's like we've turned the page where we could do what we want to do.
Yeah.
You know, so there's like a huge difference between need and want. So now it's been fun doing the things we want to do instead of have to do or need to do. You know, with our money.
Yeah.
But like I said, passion goes a long way. Eva kind of brought something home a month ago for me, and it was to organize my tools.
Okay.
You know,
That's always nice.
Was it a trash bag?
no, it was like a little kit, like just a little plastic kit. But then she's like, but I kind of had an idea of using it for the man cave for an emergency kit, and we could put Band-Aids in it, you know.
Yeah.
We could put Band-Aids in it and Tylenol and shaving cream and all this, you know, because a guy might, but it's just like passion. Yeah, I don't need that for my tools, so we'll just give it to the guys, you know. Like,
Yeah.
but it's just those little details that people notice, and and it goes a long way, you know, because it separates us from the competition. But we wouldn't have it any other way because that's just kind of how we are.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a really important piece there. Sorry to cut you off. Like what you said was very important, Brandon. How you take your profits and you reinvest it into your business. Right? That's something that a lot of people forget about because you can improve upon the structure that's already there, and you can make this magnificent product that you guys, again, have put your passion and your heart into, and it really shows in this because you care so much about it.
Right.
Curious, what are your taxes like on this? I mean, obviously, since you're running a business, is it LLC?
Yes.
Yeah. And when you're taxed heavily, of course, but you've got amazing write-offs for the year, I'm assuming.
We have lots of write-offs. It's like it's just kind of like buying real estate, like flipping a house. We have stacks of Home Depots and Ziggy's receipts. So thanks for the discount on Ziggy's, by the way.
Use my builder discount, which always welcome to.
Yeah, well, that's what brothers are for, right? I'm like, I'm with the SN Homes. Oh, you need the number?
Look, my driver's license says Beveridge on the back.
You know, every little bit helps. You know, because it's real estate. You know, but to answer your question as far as taxes, yes, we have huge tax breaks because you know we do have a lot of write-offs.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys could get Eva on here, and she could break down the numbers for you at some point. You know, like I said, I'm not the numbers guy. I'm more of like
well, you guys have delegated pieces in your business, right? So obviously, like if you're looking at the business from a bird's eye view, you're more the hands-on guy who does everything, and Eva's more kind of the behind-the-scenes, making sure the systems are running. Is that correct?
Absolutely. She makes sure she answers the emails. She does the contracts. She's like does the money thing. She meets with the brides, questions. She's behind the scenes. I'm more like, I'll give tours, I'll mop the barn, I'll scrub the toilets, that's sort of thing. We know each other's roles and we just excel at them.
That's
you
good.
know.
That's important there too, right? To know where you're at with your partner, and try not to swerve in their lane.
Right. Even though it's like an at-home business, we don't want to get complacent. We know our roles and we know what it takes to continue this at-home business.
Did you get more bookings when you lost your mullet?
Yes, I did actually.
I'm sorry, Brandon. It looked like a dead rat in your head.
Dude, I know. I will never do a mullet again. I thought it was coming back, but it wasn't coming back for me.
It was so funny because like my wife does hair and she's fantastic at it.
Yeah, she hated it.
And I saw it like, how is she letting this slide right now?
Yeah.
And you know what's funny too? We actually cut it into a rat tail. And this is kind of funny. This is off subject.
For how long did you?
I had a rat tail for like 5 minutes, but during that 5 minutes, I had to give it to her. So they were following me around the property with a little rat tail.
Keeping it.
Yeah, not happening again. I'm more of a clean cut guy. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna-
Didn't we have rat tails growing up for just a little bit?
We
like
did.
when we were super young. I remember having
we
one.
did, yeah.
It was that was a wild time. I can't believe my mom did that. Your mom too.
Same mom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We had the same hairdresser. Giving us rat tails.
Yeah, she did a great job.
I can't believe she let us go out in public.
She did a lot for us. Chimichangas and
Oh yeah.
peanut butter and jelly tortillas, burritos,
Yeah. Chicken thighs.
chicken thighs,
Baked in the oven.
Whopper Wednesdays. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That
she
was
took care of us.
That was our meals. So how many people can you get at your wedding venue? Like how many guests can you handle?
200.
200 people. Okay, that's a lot.
Yep.
And then for those that don't know, you have a big building just for a man cave for the groomsmen to hang out at, right?
Correct.
And then you also have a separate building for the bridesmaids and stuff.
Yep.
And they can do their hair. There's like a couple different wings to it, which is really unique. Am I saying this right?
A couple of entrances.
Yeah, like isn't there a place to do the hair, and then there's another place where
Right.
they can sleep or something,
Correct.
or rest up or
Yep.
whatever, shower off. There's a full bathroom and everything in there, which is really cool.
There's the bridal suite, and then there's a separate hair and makeup room.
Yeah,
Right. And then you can close the
is a nice
door
touch.
to that if you wanted to like sleep in there.
Yeah. So you got those two extra buildings that the bride and groom have access to.
Correct.
And then you've got your big old barn that's on your logo there. What was it like bringing that barn? The vision?
Oh, that.
Did the Amish people just kind of build it out the way they wanted, or did you guys have a plan for them?
Eva had a plan for them. We they're the experts in the field too, so we always like, hey, what would you do? Because like this is where you thrive.
Yeah.
And, but we did have a vision for them, and they made it to come together pretty affordable for us. And they do good quality work.
Yeah.
Really efficient.
Great
I
work.
remember just thinking about like a deck. We have a little deck entrance to the venue for the kitchen, and I think we just got lucky with our contractor because I remember a couple years ago he said, "Oh, we're gonna go out of town to pick some mushrooms. Oh, I'll just build you a deck on my way out of town."
Yeah.
All casual, all
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
they literally came over that morning, and a couple hours later I had a deck. I had to come in and do the railing myself.
Yeah.
But they just built the deck on their way out of town to mushrooming, and then I just remember like Sean telling me that you guys had some contractors and they were taking like weeks and weeks to build this deck. I'm like, oh, mine started a couple hours.
Yeah. It's all, who, not how.
You know.
That's a book that we were just recommended. It's all who you know.
Yep. So we've been fortunate to know these Amish guys. They do good work, but it's just kind of on their schedule. So it's like, hey,
How did you find them?
Eva grew up in Springdale, and it's a small community, and that's all I know.
'Cause that's like something like normal people can't just go on like a Facebook group and be like looking for Amish people to build me a
Right,
deck tomorrow.
right. And I think they might be considered ex-Amish because they use power tools and have phones, and things like
That's
that.
sacrilege.
But they are,
They're hardcore.
they've been really great to us, and we call them basically every spring. Hey, we got a few projects if you could handle it, So
Yeah. Right on.
What do you kind of pay them for kind of labor?
they've raised their rates, but I think they're about $30 an hour now.
That's still super cheap.
Yeah.
For the kind of work they do and how quick they do it and the quality.
Right, but
It's basically free.
I remember they actually built a lean off the man cave a couple years ago, and I was like, "What's that going to cost me?" He's like, $327. I'm like, "All right."
Wait, that huge lean-to?
that lean on the man cave.
Oh, off the man cave. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
they-
that was still pretty big.
Yeah, they built a
$300,
lean
wow.
from scratch, and I had some of the materials, and they said, how about 320? He just did some quick math. I go, sure.
Okay.
I think I rounded up to. I'll round up to 330.
You little $3 tip here. No, but like that's important because like if you were to do that yourself, Brandon, just curious, how long do you think that project would take you?
Oh man, it would take me so long now, especially having the baby and the toddler.
Right.
It would take me weeks.
Yeah, and it's a classic example of hiring out what you don't need to do, right? Like, where's your time best spent?
Absolutely.
And that building that lean-to was not that answer. Paying $327 to an Amish guy, definitely the answer.
Right.
Though.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you have any? So you have a lot of acreage still. Like you're only currently using what, a third of your property, maybe, or a
If
fourth?
that, I mean, really, the first 5
Maybe
acres.
the first 5
Yeah,
acres?
the first 5 acres. The rest is just field. Yeah.
Do you have any plans for expanding someday or doing something unique on the rest of that property? I know you guys. Don't you grow hay or something like that, or have somebody
Right.
else?
We just have a farmer that takes care of it. Yeah.
And is that for tax saving?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're zoned agriculture, so he just takes care of the field, and that's a huge tax break.
Yeah.
So do you make any money off the hay?
No. He just he does the work with all of his equipment, and we just get the receipt basically. So we have that write-off, and we could continue our agriculture permit.
How much money do you think it's saving you in taxes?
Thousands.
Okay.
I know it saves us thousands.
Yeah.
I wonder how much he's making off all the hay that he's growing. Do you have any idea?
I don't think much. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think much.
Does he give you some for your horses?
No, we buy Eva's particular with her hay. So,
Of course. Eva.
so no, we buy it from a friend.
Your hay is definitely not good enough for her.
So yay, nay.
No, Nick said you're no plans of expanding, but I'm going to ask you a different question, kind of going off that, Brandon. Do you have any plans of building another wedding venue?
Nope.
Okay. Because I'm going to say, like, what you've got, like you said, you've got a gold mine, but you manufactured this gold mine yourself. You didn't just strike gold. You basically deposited the ore so you could mine it.
Exactly. Yeah, we saw the potential. Just like when you go and you buy a flip, you're like you could vision what it would look like when you get done and see the fruit on the other side.
Yeah.
And I guess that was like with this property. Like we could see the potential. That's why we jumped on it, and it actually didn't come together at first. And then the guy's offer fell through because he didn't have all $500,000 in cash. I guess it fell through.
Talk is cheap, dude.
So they took our offer. Like how does it go when like you get really excited about something, you see something in the vision, and your whole life flashes before your eyes, and then all of a sudden you go home that night, and then the realtor calls and say, no, they went with a different offer,
Yeah.
And you're like, dang it!
And then
move on.
Yeah. So that was a blow, and then a couple months later, we got that call, and we jumped on it.
Yeah, it's something we talk about on this episode a lot too, like buying properties with logic rather than emotion. Obviously, this was an emotional purchase for you because you guys wanted to build your dream. But if you didn't do it on this property, there would have been another one where you would have done it, right?
Right.
Yeah, like this wasn't the end of the world. If you didn't get this.
Right.
You would have manufactured your dream still.
That's exactly what we did. Yep.
Take the hits, even when it doesn't go your way. Keep on stepping.
Yeah.
Yep. You said it right.
So there's got to be a point sometime in the next few years where you're going to be kind of done making serious improvements to your property, right? And you can start saving some of this money that you're getting.
We say that every year. We say that every year.
I'm just curious, do you have any plans of like actually investing all this money that you're making from your property outside your property? Like purchasing a rental somewhere or doing anything else, or is it still all going right back into your...
It's just a matter of time. You know, like right now, like the kids are demanding and the venue's demanding, and but I think Eve, if you ask Eva this question, like she's got the good vision and she has the great ideas, and I'm 100% supportive of most of her ideas, you know.
Yeah.
But she would like, she's very good at design, you know, so she would be good at designing the inside of homes, and like, you know, like flipping homes at some point is
Okay.
something that we could see ourselves doing when the opportunity presents itself, you know, as far as having the off season to focus on that, you know.
Nice.
But, so keep sending us those listings, you know, out when you do out in Deer Park, because you know, like,
it's so weird. I get random wholesale deals in Deer Park like once every other month.
yeah, and you know, we look at them. We don't just put them in the trash. You know, we look at these because I think that'll probably be something that'll happen down the road. You know, where we'll actually like look into buying a home or renting it out or doing something different. But right now, all of our eggs are, you know, in this venue because we kind of created a beast.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just you know, a lot to maintain and tours and things like that. So
for those out there listening that do want that, either they have a wedding venue now and they want to up their game, or they want to start one, what are a couple of things that you guys have done that you would never do again?
Good question, Nick.
Or maybe just one thing
that we've done that we wouldn't do again.
Yeah.
I guess when we designed the bridal suite, we were so hung up on weddings and we didn't see like the long term, you know, like, because obviously like COVID happened. So at plan B, we had to shift and turn it into an Airbnb.
Okay.
But it was never designed to be an Airbnb. So sometimes we get feedback like, oh, I wish there was a fan in the bedroom, or there's no oven, you know, like,
okay.
You know, or the biggest thing is the shower, you know, like it was made for like just a quick rinse off, because it's a small shower. If the bride wanted to rinse off on a hot summer day, you know.
Yeah, right.
But now that we're hosting year round, people want to take like, you know, that long warm shower. So just things like that. We probably would have designed it a little bit better. The bridal suite is probably like one of our.
Okay. So you would make it more universal.
Right. We'd make it. Yeah. So if we knew we were going to host like year round, we probably would have made a lot of more changes to that building, you know,
Gotcha.
where it could accommodate.
So you might renovate that, I'm guessing. That might be your next project.
Yeah, or tackle another building, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, there's like 10 or 11 buildings on the property, a lot of breaker boxes and that sort of thing. So we'll probably leave it as is, and just and have that be what it is, and then just take on the next building, with, you know, like learning from past mistakes. You know, like that's how you get better.
Yeah.
Right? Like you've learned a lot since your first flip, you know?
Quite a bit, yeah.
So, I guess,
Very good.
yeah.
Right. If we're getting to the wind down, do you want me to ask the final question?
Sure.
Okay. So Brandon Beveridge, first of all, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you. For anyone who hasn't heard of this venue, Evermore Event Center out in Deer Park, Washington, we're going to plug it here in a minute, but I want to ask you some questions that we kind of ask some of our guests at the end of the shows. First question is, if you had $30 million gifted to one of your bank accounts, what is the first thing you would spend it on?
A side-by-side?
Good answer.
Yeah,
okay.
So big enough for all my friends to fit in.
A side-by-side that costs $30 million?
That's the first thing he would spend.
Right, that's the first thing I would do.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a good answer.
It is.
Thank you. And,
Nobody's ever said side-by-side.
yeah, well, it's going to be a really nice one.
Yeah. Do you read books at all?
Not really.
No? Okay.
No.
What's the best piece of business advice you've ever been given then?
I know Robert Kiyosaki says, you know, you got to fail like 3 times. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of, you know, you just gotta keep moving forward. You know, even when you have those setbacks, you learn and keep moving forward from them. I guess that's pretty good advice. The grass isn't greener on the other side. You know, it's kind of green where you water it. We've noticed that. You know.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say 6 P's.
I want you to say the 6 P's for me.
Yeah, proper preparation.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Performance.
Sorry, not the 6 Ps, but what you just said, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. It could be green on your side too if you water it.
No, it's green where you water it.
It's green where you water it.
Yeah, so take care of what you have.
I don't know. Is that a common saying? I've never heard anyone say that. That actually, I think that really applies to most things.
Yeah.
Not
I
to
mean,
get-
you don't have. I mean, Eva's kind of said it too. Like you could have, like, not a nice house, but you could take care of the nice house and make
Yeah.
it like livable. You know,
Yeah.
like, so make the best of what you have. Make the best of your situation. It does. Just because you don't have a great house or the best property, you could still make it a nice. You know.
Sure.
And you can take a nice house and turn it shitty.
You can.
And just,
Go the
you
opposite
know,
way too.
I've seen that happen.
I've seen a few videos. Yeah, of new build constructions, and there's like flaws all over the place. Like, who would want to live here? You know?
Oh, no, I just mean like just by not taking care of something. You know, I've seen people move into nice houses and then see them a couple years later and you're just like, what happened?
Yep.
It usually happen. Yeah. So it sounds like, you know, like kind of what you're alluding to as well is, you know, what you focus on expands. You know, if you water your grass, it will grow. I think that's a very good analogy. Thank you for that. Of course. Next question for you is, how do you define success?
I think it is if you wake up happy.
Yeah.
You know, obviously millions of dollars in the bank. Wake. You know, I'd wake up a lot happier. You know, problems would go away. We kind of create more problems too. You know.
Isn't that funny? I always hear people say the saying, like, money can't buy happiness. Like, have you ever had money? It makes me pretty damn happy.
But no, I would just say, you know, like, just waking up in the morning and being happy that you're blessed with another day. You know, like you're not in the hospital bed or like terminal illness. Like you're just kind of you can come and do a podcast or go to real estate meetings or build a venue. Like honestly, like the sky is the limit for anybody on what they want to pursue. You know, like.
Got to take a chance to have a chance. That's what you used to say in your emails.
You remember that?
Yeah, wasn't it in your email signature? Gotta take a chance to have a chance.
It's been there, yes. Yep. Or you don't have to see the whole staircase. You just got to take the first step. You know.
I like that. When you're not building a really awesome wedding venue, what do you do with your free time, if you have any?
I spend a lot with the baby.
Yeah.
A lot of, and I try to like juggle the baby and cut wood or do like I like to do projects. Actually, Nick actually helped me. Inspired me when you guys kind of came over to help me build that bar for the man cave. He kind of inspired me to make more. I don't have to end there.
Yeah.
So
You've done a lot since then.
For sure.
I've really enjoyed building things, putting things together for me or someone else.
Not as good as the Amish, but you're pretty good.
It's fulfilling, Yeah, I guess that's what I enjoy doing. But I honestly, I just like listening to loud rock and roll, like while I'm doing it.
Yeah, for sure. Brandon's Metallica guy. Yeah. Bring Metallica to him at any time of the day, and he will stop and dance for you. We love that.
You know what? Actually, the other morning, I bought and paid for the upgrade on Beat Saber. They've got a whole Metallica session. It costs $20. It's worth it. Worth it.
So
is it permanently in your library?
Of course.
So you bought the upgrade of the Metallica songs.
Yeah, they release all the Metallica songs or like the greatest hits on Beat Saber.
I should probably get that. That sounds
Pretty good. Make you sweaty real quick because those songs are like long. Yeah. Anyway,
we were singing. We got one more question, but Sam and I were singing Metallica's house the other day. I was like, that reminds me.
Oh,
of
yeah.
I'm glad to get to see him. Last question is, I want you to plug your business. Like, where can people find you? Where can people go to book or find out more about your wedding venue? Because honestly, if you're in the Northwest, you should definitely checking out Evermore Event Center to get married or have your event at. So please plug away.
all right, yeah. All you have to do is Google Evermore Event Center. It pops up, and if you could just take our tour video, it plays. Ginger Snap put it together for us, and Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because that tour video has been a diamond. I guess we've booked a lot of weddings just from that tour video because
Nice.
sometimes the mom can't make it or lives out of state, and
Right.
you need that opinion so the bride could come out, or vice versa. Sometimes the bride lives out of state and the mom is going to visit,
Yeah.
and then poof, you just send them the link to that video that you put together for us, and it's really gone a long way. We've booked so many weddings off having that tour video because we could actually showcase what we have without someone being there,
Yeah.
and they'll know right now, or they'll know if it's the right spot for them or not. You know,
People will make up that mind within the first probably 10 to 15
Right.
seconds watching your video.
or like, hey mom, I found a venue. I'm here right now. I love it. I'm gonna send you the link and just click on it, watch the video for 2 minutes, and tell me what you think if you want me to get married here. And because usually a lot of times the parents are paying for a venue, you know, or the dad of the bride, you know.
Not you.
So, but that's been extremely helpful. That tour video, and I've gave you credit before, but like, yeah, it's something that we'll always do because it's very important to our business now. It's part of our business, and
Happy to be back out and get you another one too when you update another. So.
it's kind of funny. I mean, because how things kind of outdate, you know. But literally, I think we improved the venue the next day and put a window on and let more light into this space, and it was just like, oh, we should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
That's not the worst thing. People see that video, they're like captured by it, they want to go there, and then they get there and it's even better.
Yep.
Right.
I think there's a lot of magic to that too. Like, right, you hold back some of the best aspects. So, like, if they love it already, when they get there, they're gonna love it even more.
Right.
Under promise, over deliver.
That's right.
Yeah, but I mean, whether it's wedding venue or real estate or owning a restaurant or what it is, I mean, if you have passionate about it, then you'll go far. You know, especially if you could find your your spouse that's equally compassionate about it. Like you guys, like literally, the sky's the limit. So that's what I'd say. Like, you know, not everybody has to build a wedding venue or be a realtor. Just honestly, just try to find a way to make a living on what you're good at, and you'll go far. I mean, even if it's building a table, you know, or a race car or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because then working late, it doesn't matter, you know. You know, you don't all of a sudden you don't look at the clock. Like I never look at the clock really.
Yeah.
Other than knowing when I needed to leave to be here.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. Other than staying on your calendar appointments.
You know, like yeah.
Other time.
So,
Cool. Well, you forgot to mention too what your hobbies. You're also in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something like that, or MMA fighting. What?
well,
what are
no,
you
I
training?
started the jiu-jitsu, but I stuck with the Muay Thai, punching, kicking, and we spar after class, and it's a lot of fun. I get a pretty good workout.
You started this a couple years ago, right?
Yep. Yeah, about 2 years ago.
Tony Jaa does Muay Thai too. That's great.
Muay Thai? Who's that?
Tony Jaa.
Oh, Tony Jaa, the actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been really great. Mondays and Wednesdays is kind of like my day to kind of like, you know, set the baby down and kind of go do my own thing for a couple hours. It's been really, you know, finding that work-life balance it's been really good for me.
It is kind of sad I can't kick your ass anymore.
I was going to ask the question. Do you think Nick could still tap you out? Honestly, no.
We should roll after this, you know. That's opportunity knocking.
Yeah.
At least hit me in the stomach a few times.
I can't do it. I don't want to hurt you.
Well, we learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Like actually, one of the classes years ago, the instructor made us go up against the wall and put our hands up here, and our partner just has to hit us in the stomach for about a whole minute, you know, and you just have to learn how to breathe and take a hit, and it's good for you.
Yeah.
It's good for you is subjective. Don't punch on the stomach. It's good for you. Nick does cold plunges. That's good for you.
Yeah. Oh, I was
each.
shivering for an hour today afterwards. I went an extra minute.
Really?
Shouldn't have.
See, I couldn't do that. I don't want to get my toes cold, man. I just can't. I can't do that cold weather stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be good for you. I don't know.
We're not experts here.
If it's a cheap, quick hack, I'm in.
I love it. Well, let's wrap this thing up.
All right,
We're
fine.
in an hour and 10 minutes. Brandon, thank you again so much for joining us today on the Investor Shed podcast. Again, go check out his wedding venue if you're in the Northwest and you want to get married, or you know somebody is getting married. Mention my name and you'll get 0% off, by the way. So mention Jeremy Kitchen. Actually, Brandon will charge you more if you mention my name. So please do that. Support local business. And thank you so much for checking out the Investor Shed podcast. We will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.